Hello, everybody. Welcome back to The Way That I See It. My name is Lucy Superfox, and this is my podcast. A little bit coldy today, but I dosed myself up and I was like, I'm getting this podcast done. I'm going on site for an event for 2 weeks. And I was like, I still want to get this recorded and out because there's so much on my mind and so much on my heart right now. And I really feel the need to share it. So, what I wanted to talk about today is about, are you manifesting on purpose? Are you manifesting intentionally? Or actually, are you letting life happen to you rather than actually seeing life happening for you? And I think it's really easy to believe that we're super intentional, believe that we're setting intentions, and believe that we're doing everything right. And actually, in my experience, intentional manifestation is actually really difficult. And that's because we're human beings responding to people around us, people in our lives, things that happen. We have to deal with other humans, whether that's in the grocery store, oh, that was very American of me, in the supermarket, or whether it's in our work environments, like we have to deal with other humans. So as much as we can have the intention to be intentional, I think that sometimes what happens is we don't realize how much we're being swept up and caught up in other people's manifestations and other people's lives. And so this is where personal development really is queen or king, right? This is where setting some time for yourself every morning to be intentional about A, how you want your day to go, but B, what your focuses are and where your energy needs to go. That's absolutely key to creating the next level life that you're seeking. So if you're seeking a life, whether it's more money, more time, more flexibility, more freedom, more confidence, better body, whatever it is, you've got to wake up and set that intention, because the human mind cannot process all the images it processes every single day. It cannot do half the things we think it can do because we're trying to feed it too much information. We're oversaturated with images, we're oversaturated with noise, with text. I mean, it's a miracle we don't all have sensory overload 24/7, right? And the key is to tell your brain what to focus on. That's what your reticular activating system is, right? Your reticular activating system is simply the thing that says, this is what I focus on. It's what we put into that reticular activating system, or the filter of your mind. That's the thing your brain will look for. And so unless you are sitting down and making that intentional focus when the subconscious mind is more awake, which tends to be first thing in the morning, right? Allows your subconscious, there's kind of basically a thin veil. It's a really very fluffy term, but a thin veil between the conscious and the subconscious mind. And that first kind of waking period in the morning is actually the best time for you, and just before you go to sleep is the best time to really penetrate from your conscious mind, which is your, oh my God, got to do this, kind of mind, to your subconscious mind, which is where programming and change happens. So the best and the most important time to set your intentions is either before you go to sleep and when you wake up, because then what you do is you get really, really clear on how you want your day to go and how you want to feel and what you want to create today and who you want to be and what your focus is and what your energy, where you want to spend your energy, because otherwise it's so easy to live life on autopilot. And I've been working on a big event project lately, and obviously with big events like this comes big stress, and with big stress comes big responsibility, and big responsibility comes a lot of focus. And what that's meant for me is that maybe some of the other things that I believe and know to be true or important to me have, maybe as much as they still feel important to me, maybe my intention hasn't been fully behind them because my physical body is only able to focus on a few things. And so this is why it's so freaking important to get really, really clear on what it is that you do want, because your brain doesn't have the capacity to focus on everything that you think it does. It just doesn't, right? And so actually what needs to happen is you need to feed it. You need to be really specific and really clear. This is what I want you to focus on. This is what we need to be doing. And not just doing that for a day or a week or a month, but doing that for 3 months, for 6 months. And actually then seeing what happens. And so what I always say to people is, when I ask the question, are you manifesting on purpose? Everyone says, oh, of course I am. Really, though? Or actually, are you setting some kind of fluffy intentions, maybe believing that you can have them, hoping and trusting a little bit, and maybe having some faith in there, right? But not actually setting clear intention and taking inspired action every day. And, the 5 steps of manifestation that I talk about all the time, for me, they are the 5 steps, right? And you cannot be spending your energy and your time, right? I always used to talk about this in a fitness sense, but you've got an energy cake, right? And if you cut off 9 slices of the 10 for your day job, you've only got 1 slice left to do everything else. So tell me where most of the results are going to happen. Tell me where most of the energy is going, right? So you've got to decide how much of your energy cake you're going to give to each piece of your goal and focus. And that comes from setting your intentions really, really clearly. I think what happens is most of us spend the majority of our cake time, right? So if you think about it this way, if I really spell this example out for you, If you have a cake, right, and you were to cut it into 10 slices, if you actually only give one of those slices to the thing that you say you want, so that's creating your next level life, your side business, your dream, your goals, your fitness goal, your body goal, your relationship goal, you're only going to see a tenth of the progress than if you give, all 10 slices to that thing. Now, we're human beings, we have lives, we have a lot going on, right? It's not always a realistic aspiration. But this is what I'm talking about with haphazard or accidental manifestation, is if you don't set your intention, your energy, and your focus behind the things and give things sole focus, right? Nothing really moves. And so this isn't because you can't do multiple things. I have multiple businesses, multiple goals, multiple endeavors, right? But what I'm saying is you must set a clear intention. So if, let's say, you have only got a tenth of the cake to invest in something, at least then you're investing every single part of that tenth of the cake and not a tenth of the tenth, right? Which I think is what a lot of people do, is they maybe say, oh yeah, that's a goal and that's a goal and that's a goal, but they're not actually giving their full ass, giving their full selves to when they are spending those time on those things. Because every single manifestation we have in life, every single goal we have, every single thing we're striving for must have intention, energy, focus, and inspired action. And if we're not giving it those things, actually nothing's going to really change. So when I talk about this accidental manifestation, this is what I mean. If you're not intentional about how you're spending your time, how you're spending your energy, how you're spending your focus, if you're not really super crystal freaking clear about how you're spending that time and energy, then actually what's happening is you're going to become a product of other people's manifestations. You're going to be swept up in someone else's intention, in someone else's powerful focus. And that could be amazing for us, right? And actually this is a really powerful thing to know, is that if you're actually a super powerhouse, your energy and intention are aligned and you're focused on something, you can actually sweep other people up in your path. And this is what I believe is what grows businesses, is that you are so clear on your mission, your vision, your focus, what you're about, what you stand for, who you are, you take an inspired action. And what happens is you actually sweep other people up in your manifestation because maybe they have set a clear intention. So I always think of personal trainers in this example, right? Or online coaches, maybe they have set a really clear example that maybe that personal trainer or coach's mission is to really transform the way that women see food and to free them from kind of the emotional ties to food. And actually they're so clear and so passionate and they've been on that journey and their vision and their content's amazing and doing it every single day. And there's going to be women out there that are so desperate to escape the feeling of being confined by food that they get swept up in the other person's manifestation, but it's actually their manifestation too. But manifestation, when we get swept up in something and it isn't positive, is because we're not setting ourselves really clear and we go, I want a bit more money. And then we might get swept up in a manifestation about taking more hours at work because the people at work need people to earn more money. That wasn't what you wanted. What you wanted was to grow your side business, right? And so this is where sometimes if we're not really clear, and it's not about being so specific, we get into anal details. What it's about is being really clear and intentional and focused, believing that we can have it, making space for the manifestation to come, taking inspired action and trusting the process and having faith. But if you aren't setting intention, if you aren't giving yourself that time and space, whether it's the beginning of the day or your end of your day, to be really freaking crystal clear about what you want, where you're going, where you want your energy to go, and how you want to spend your time and the energy that you do have outside of your human current life, right? Then nothing will actually change. And this is when manifestation happens by accident. We feel like we're at the victim or the mercy of life and we don't feel like life is happening for us. But I promise you, when you set the intentions, when you take the action, when you move with that vision and faith, you will see your life happening for you on purpose. So that was it this week. Any questions, as always, you know where I am. I'd love you to share me on Instagram at LucySuperfox, at Next Level Lucy, or on TikTok if that's your vibe. I'm figuring the whole TikTok game out, my friends. I'm figuring it out. Then you know where I am. I'd love to hear what you've got to say. I'd love to know if there's any topics or suggestions or anyone you would love me to have interview on the podcast. I always love a good chat show. So I hope that you have the most beautiful rest of week, the most beautiful rest of day, and I will see you all on the next episode.